What's happening, guys? Holy fuck, dude. This is absolutely crazy to me. So, all of these stocks, man, everything is just getting absolutely annihilated. It's just ridiculous. Every single bullish possible pattern, every single stock that was just killing it, right? We're just getting fucking toasted. So, I made a video about this. I was talking about some downside targets, and I was talking about 1230 being a very good level. We didn't even fucking flinch when we hit it. It was crazy. So, these things are just getting destroyed. But I do want to talk about some things. Now, obviously, we had this pattern here that looked bullish as absolutely fucking shit. And we just completely fucking dumped. I had bought some right here. And I put my stop loss below here. And we got it just had a flash fucking wick all the way down here. And I had some buy hours at 1230 we talked about. So I got stopped out here, had buy hours at 1230. We did hit it at one point, 1225 actually. And then we bought back up here. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, maybe it's a fake out. And then we bought all the way back up here. And when we got rejected here, I was like, oh my God, I got to get the hell out. So I got out, right? And so I was trying to figure out where could I enter this thing? Where could it be coming? So I'm looking at this weekly here, and I'm like, all right, we have this 21-week EMA way down here at 873. So I put some big buy orders down on this weekly 21-week EMA around 866. And then I looked at my Ichimoku cloud here, support, and I had this purple line. So I was like, all right, I know that stocks like to bounce off these. So I put a buy order at 963. And we fucking came down and we touched 950 or something, right? And we bought right the fuck back up. So instantly I was up like $190 or something. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And we bought all the way up to 1201. So and I actually sold it there. I was crying, or like I was practically crying because, and not in a good way, because when we had this wick, right? We had this one wick down to this whatever 960 or something like that. 960 was where that first wick came to, and I bought 961 thanks to that purple EMA. And we came back up, and we ended up buying all the way back up to $12, and we came up. I think we actually came up at one point to 1236 or something like that, 1242, right? So I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm a genius, right? I'm gonna get in this thing. And we came up here, and we wicked up to 1242. We came back. We got to close right at 1201. So I was like, this looks good. And, we came up again, tested this 1230, and we got rejected there. And I was like, I was talking to one of my buddies here that's in this play as well. And I'm like, 1201 really needs to hold. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to risk this. I really had a hard time selling it. But I'm like, I'm going to put my stop loss at 1198. And I put my stop loss at 1198. I got stopped out on this thing. And it took a while, right? But eventually, I was like, this kind of looks like it could be some kind of bull trap or something. Or at least maybe we'll come back down, double bottom, show some kind of sign of something. And look what we did. We fucking had a bull trap in the whole stock market. A bull trap is when stocks basically crash like this. And then we start getting a massive buyback. And it makes everybody get super bullish and start buying shit thinking that it's over, it's coming back up, and then you just tumble. So I was calling for this bull trap here, and that's exactly what happened here. So what did I do? I put another buy order at 961 again. And we did fall below, but we double bottomed here in the hourly. So I was like, all right. So right now I'm in at 961 again. But the problem for me is that even though after hours, I think I'm up like $50 or $45 or something like that. You know what I mean? I didn't buy a huge position. I think I put $1,000 in. But, I liked this candle here, and it was another fake out. I was like, ooh, this looks pretty good. I didn't like that we had this small little hair of a wick below, because usually these reversal style candles, you want to see them on the larger time frames anyway. But these reversal style candles should have a flat bottom, and you can see the wick came a little bit below, so it's not perfectly flat. So that was kind of a bummer here. But like I said, I am still in this play, but I'm only in a little bit of profit. And you can see on this hourly, we did get a close below this trend line here. And this was a pretty strong support. And I'm a little bit concerned on this now. I'm concerned on many plays, okay? So, we've discussed this before. And I've seen a lot of plays that do this, right? They have these huge breakouts of these massive patterns, and then they come back down and they retest the pattern as support. Now, this thing keeps on bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, but it is getting a little bit lower lows each time, and we're getting lower highs as well. So I'm a little concerned because pretty soon we're going to be, we don't have much support below us here. Once you get below this trend line of 914, our next support is really, you're going to get some support on this 21 at 805. You're going to get support on this weekly EMA. And, we have earnings coming up. We have a lot of good catalysts. So it's like, why would this thing come crashing down? But we have support here as well. 718. We have support on this weekly 841. Just things are just not looking too good to me. And I don't want to be afraid. I don't like to be like panic selling. I'm not really panic selling because I'm not really selling anything for a major loss. The only one I sold for a pretty sizable loss was FIX, FIXX. That one absolutely just got fucking railed, and I lost like $600, I think, because I had my stop loss at 1330, and I had entered at like 1372 with like 4 or 5 grand and a pretty good play. And then this shit all happened, and that one just completely fucking tanked, like all the way down to like 10 fucking 50. But that's not on this one. But that one was my worst play of all time. Even though I made $600 off the play originally, and it tanked, and I lost all of my profits. So I pretty much just broke even off of that beautiful swing trade. So can't win them all. Sometimes shit goes fucking south like this. Like, look at these beautiful potential plays here. Can't win them all. Win some, you lose some, right? But I'm still in profit over the year, and I'm okay with that loss that I took. And I know you lose until you sell, but for me, I'd rather be cash in hand. So I am pretty much all cash in hand. So what I'm looking at right now is this RSI here, and you can see that this was a giant rising channel here. And every time we came down, we did bounce off of this trend line here on the weekly. And look where we are right now. Now, my fear is that we are breaking this slowly. Now, it does look like it could be like a potential head and shoulders pattern, which would be phenomenal short to mid-term. But longer term, it would not be good. And it's hard to say if that is considered a break. Now, I'm kind of thinking it is, because if you look at this weekly MACD, we are coming down to potentially cross. It doesn't have to cross, and maybe we'll get something where we don't cross, but I'm just getting very, very nervous about some of this shit. So my thought right now for some stuff, there's a few stocks out here that I really want to pick up on the cheap, and this was one of them. But now that I'm actually getting it on the cheap, it's making me a little bit nervous, because I don't like to catch falling knives here, and I'm wondering if we are going to catch one here. So I'm kind of thinking that depending on how markets open, I might just exit if I'm in profits here. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not an emotional trader, and this market is making my emotions go crazy, which I like to buy fear, and I feel fear right now. So that's what's making me really want to buy stuff, because of that reason. So if you look here on the RSI and the daily, we have some peaks down here where we've touched this green line here, and this is where we are right now. So if we did come lower to touch this trend line, I really expect that we're going to get a bounce here. I really do. So I'm thinking personally that the problem is where is that bounce going to be? Is it going to be at 724? I don't think it'll go that low. So what my expectations is that we're going to come down and test this weekly EMA. Right now it's at 854, and I think next week it probably will be right around, it's tough to say like where exactly, but I think it'll be somewhere around 870. And, you know, a lot of times in bull markets, we do have retests of weekly 21-week EMAs, and many stocks out there are doing that. So one thing that we can do is we can look at this as a rising channel, and maybe this will help us get a targeted breakdown potential here. So let me look at this as a rising channel here. Okay, let's see. And, you know, if you're in this long-term investing and you have a really good average, like in the $6 range, I mean, I would not be selling the thing. I would keep your average personally, especially if you held it this long and didn't sell it up in the 19s. You know, why sell it if you have that good of an average? But I do want to look at the breakdown target of this rising channel while we're here. Oof. All right, let's go by the following week here if we do. All right, that's a little bit better, and it does kind of make more sense because if we do, in fact, come below, well, shit, we are below that. So it doesn't, I don't know. This is my breakdown target here. I mean, potentially it would have been this week, but if we do break down, obviously we're not above 1151, and we need to be above 1151 to buy back into this here. So that's what you really want to look for is like 1178-ish. But the breakdown of this rising channel almost brings us to this trend line here, but the breakdown is exactly at 718. So, I mean, I really don't want it to be there, but I can't control the market. And if that's going to be what we are heading to, it's possible that that's where we go. And hopefully, we would find support on that. And this thing can be very, very bullish long term. And what we could be actually creating, if you look at it like, if you look at it like this, let me just get rid of some of these trend lines for like a longer term view here. Is what if we were actually creating like a big ass inverse head and shoulders? You know what I mean? That is very possible that that's something that we're doing. But if we can manage to maintain support here, because, you know, it doesn't have to crash all the way down to here. We're going to have a lot of support here at this 860. And as you see this trend line here, we did touch it and we bounced perfectly off it many times, right? But we're just kind of hovering around here. So if it does continue down it, $9, and if it keeps testing it every week, then eventually we will hit this average of this 860, and that'll probably be the weekly 860, 870, depending on if this weekly, you know, it's going to keep moving up. So it could end up being up here in a couple of weeks when we finally hit it around $9 or so. That's something to keep in mind here. But just look at how perfectly it did actually touch this trend line here. And I didn't move any of these since our last video here. So this is just the same resistance line that we got right here where we wicked up to in the past. And we broke out of that. We blasted off. And now we're just kind of coming back and retesting it on the bullish case scenario here. So is still a great sign. Personally, I would get a little worried if we came below this 840. But even if we could have a big wick, and I'm not saying we're going to, but if we did have a gigantic wick below, that may be the last time that you'll ever see that $6.96 to $7 range again. But it's too soon to say. So I just wanted to talk about this because look at this. I mean, we should be fucking pumping right now. We got this golden cross here. This shows that we're in a bull market. I mean, on the bright side and beyond all the fear that this is just absolutely insane. So it should just be a big correction is what I'm really praying for. Could just be a big correction that's just resetting everything. But this 855 is very, very important to me, and I'm going to be watching it. So let's take a look at the shorter term time frames here. So as of right now, we do have bullish divergence, and we are working on buying back up, which makes sense because if you look at the daily here, we're not quite overbought here. And the scariest part for me is that we are getting this potential death cross here on the daily that could push us further down. And that's where I'm like kind of nervous right now because we don't want to get pushed down any further. And, whoops. You know, I don't want to see this thing go down to fucking $7 personally. I'd like $8.50. I do have some buy orders set down there, and I'm going to keep them there. I'm just trying to decide if I should continue holding my $9.60 position, if that's like a really solid spot, or if that's just going to screw me, because I don't like to see myself in the red. I mean, nobody really does. And normally, like, I don't like to normally play some of these things like this where I just try to buy these things and hope it's the bottom type of thing. I'd rather play a breakout. It's a lot safer. But I mean, for long-term investing and stuff in the company, buying these are probably fucking amazing spots. 950, I mean 983. I mean, long-term, this thing is going to be crushing it. So if you are buying these dips long-term, then I think it's a great opportunity to be buying 950s, 860s, and if, in fact, it does go as low as 7, which, as of right now, it does look like that in the charts, but it doesn't have to go there. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. And we have this 200 EMA at fucking $8, so $8.05 actually. But on the daily, we should be getting a bounce soon, like I said, so we could come a little bit lower. And then we should hopefully get a nice big bounce. Hopefully we'll come and retest this old rising channel here and then get back up in here. But we'll see how that plays out. But I just want to do another update on this thing and see what's up. And leave a like and comment if you guys enjoyed this. And let me know what you think. Peace.